All right, welcome everybody to our monthly movie trap. We will be watching Treatment for Traitors, which is about the anti-colonial revolutionary Samora Machel calling out these neocolonial sellouts. And there's a trial, the betrayal of how, these sellouts really, again, sold out their own people, the Mozambique people. So we are your host. I'm Chief Sanite. I am in the SGO office and the defense office, and I'm representing the nation of Africa, and my pronouns are she, they. Chief Felix, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so I am Chief Felix. I am Chief of Staff of SciTech. I rep the nation of Africa, and I use they, them pronouns. Super excited to be hosting this with Chief Sanite. And while I've got you all here, I'm going to remind you all to be sharing this event with people. It is going to be a really good movie. Like Chief Sanite said, we're in for a really nice treat. So tell your friends, tell your comrades, get them in here before we get started, because we still have a little bit of time before we get started. All right, so Chief Sanite, because we are watching.
Share.
Mm-hmm. Yes, since we are watching a movie, you have any snacks for us, Chief?
Oh yeah, I do. Well, I don't have snacks on me. I already ate, but they're in spirit. So like my go-to snacks are Raisinets and kettle corn. But I heard people got beef with Raisinets. People don't like them. They say they're not a real candy. Yeah, lies. But yeah, like what kind of snacks are you bringing, Chief Felix? Like, what's a snack game like? Like, what is it?
I have to say I am with Chief Oju on this one. I'm absolutely against Raisinets and kettle corn. I am not against you though, Chief Sanite. I want to remind you that. But yeah, I do disunite with the snacks that you are choosing this evening. I would probably be choosing I would say like sour gummy worms are typically my go-to. I like a little sweet sour treat, but it was a little rainy today, so I did not have any time to get out, but I do have a little sandwich beside me that I'm going to be eating when the movie gets started, so I'm excited for that.
Okay, a whole sandwich, nice. Like I can't beat it. I got water, that's about it. But yeah, we're about to get into this fundraising call. Yes, fundraising. We need that monies for Hammer City. And so, I'm gonna see my like $5, $10. Take your wallets out, please. Get your grandma's wallet. Like, go find a wallet and just give to Hammer City. So yeah, Chief Felix, what are you like looking forward to about Hammer City? And I need to see some monies, please.
Yes, I'm super excited. I want to see more donations drop in the chat. I don't think I've seen anything yet. I mean, I saw a wallet just the other day. I saw 12. I was tripping on them. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So I think we can find some money. Yeah, steal someone's wallet. They're not using the money. Someone who's going to use the money. Us. Hammer City. We're going to be doing incredible stuff over there. I'm really excited to eat some Hammer City sour gummy worms. Excuse me. I know we're going to have some pretty bad labeling. Like I said, those are my favorite snacks. And let's see, stealing. I mean, is anyone stealing anyone's wallet anymore? I mean, what's going on?
I don't know.
Am I seeing anything?
White people, you can steal their wallets. It's fine. But Hammer. That's all you're excited about? Hammer City gummy worms, or what is it? Hammer City sweet and sour candy? That's it? I'm personally excited about Hammer City band, okay? Like, again, I need some more, dollar signs in the chat. Hammer City band, Hammer City wins, Hammer City brass. Like, we need money for the band that we're going to be starting up. So, yeah, we need some more donations. Ooh, yes, $5 on it. I love that. Ooh, another $5. Yes. And so, Chief Felix, like anything else you're excited about? I know you're in SciTech, so like labs, science, like.
Labs and science, as excited in labs and science. Do you get me? These donations are getting me just as excited. Am I right, Chief Sanite? I'm seeing 5. Shout out, thank you, Chief Oju, also Chief Sa. $5 for my own wallet. You know what? That's okay. We're gonna find you a wallet, Chief T, and we're gonna get you $5 out of that wallet. $5 also, thanks, Chief Frederico. I'm seeing with raisins. I'm okay with raisins. Raisinets is where it starts getting in Like, what is that? Is it
Why?
I
They're
like
so
chocolate.
good. What do you mean? No, come on. I don't know. I think my mom really likes them, and so like when I was younger, like I always like, had some of my mom's food. So can't Raisinets is just a go-to. It's peak. But yes, $10 from Chief Savvy. I see some more donations. And you already got Bitcoin? Anybody?
Yes, anyone for Bitcoin. If you
Yeah.
don't have Bitcoin though, we do still accept Cash App and Venmo. We are Build Hammer City on Cash App and also Build Hammer City on Venmo. Yeah, we do dodge honestly anything that you're willing to give us. We're willing to take it. So check out those donation links. We should be able to figure that out for you. Raisinets are canceled.
Those are savage comments. Like, really coming for my Raisinets? Why? They're so good. I don't know. They're basic, but they're good. They're amazing. Y'all like Twizzlers or something? Come on. Like,
I like
fucking bag on
Twizzlers.
y'all's candy.
I'll eat, you know what? I'll eat Raisinets. I'll eat Raisinets when I've got nothing left in the house. You know what I mean? I'm hungry. I'm looking for something. I've got a Raisinette laying around. But it's still tasty. It's not like I won't eat it. There are some things that I won't eat if I still have it in the house. So like it's it's still something I'd go for. One
It's
single
like the last
Raisinette.
thing I'm like be at it. But yes, I just saw we had was it 25 $25 in reparations. So yes, keep them coming. We're hitting the goal of $300. Yeah, like anything, a penny, 10 cents. You can go and trade in your book at like a bookstore and then like get money from that and then come next time with something. But yeah, anything else you're excited about, Chief Felix? I know that I'm excited about, again, Hammer City sports. I love sports. We're gonna have a basketball court. We're gonna have y'all are coming for Raisinets. I can't stand it. But so like a softball field. It's gonna be great. Hammer City sports team.
A
And
Hammer
like,
City
you
sports
excited
team.
about sports?
We'll have Team Raisins and Team Raisinets or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Another $25 in reparations.
Yes, craisins are life. You're right, Chief Sub. I love craisins. I think I'm just like a sucker for like dried berries dipped in chocolate, because I also do like cranberry, like the cranberry version of Raisinets. Amazing.
Absolutely. Not the cranberries. You know what? We might have to save the cranberries for after we talk about what are crazies. Yeah, after we talk about part one of the movie. So thank you everyone for fundraising for us so far. We are going to go ahead and jump into part one. We're going to take a couple of breaks to discuss what we are seeing. So I want to remind everyone that we're going to open this up for discussion at the end. So be sure to be ready to drop your X's in the chat because we'll be calling on you once you're done. And to make sure that the movie is looking real good, looking at its absolute best, we're gonna have to turn off cameras while we're doing this. Then we're gonna come back on camera when we're ready to discuss again. So all right, let's get into it, everyone.
I'm back.
A luta continua. A luta continua.
1982. The socialist government of Mozambique, a young independent country in southern Africa, organized a meeting of great political importance. President Samora Machel and his government leaders held a week-long session with some 1,000 collaborators who had worked by order of Portugal at the time of its colonial domination of Mozambique. people who betrayed their compatriots, sometimes even tortured or killed them. More than 100,000 people collaborated with the Portuguese. They are known as the Compromised. They voluntarily joined the fascist party ANP, or became agents of the secret police PIDA, or soldiers in the colonial army, specially trained commandos who attacked villages suspected of supporting Frelimo. This meeting is part of the final rehabilitation of people who, as President Machel said, would have gone before a firing squad in other revolutions. In Mozambique, they were left in their homes and jobs. However, they lost their civil rights, and their pictures and biographies were hung up in their workplaces. After a period of such confrontation with their pasts, the ex-collaborators were considered to be fit for integration as compatriots into the new Mozambican society. And this would seem to be the final stage. Even those who collaborated with colonialism deserve a home country, says the banner hanging above the government leaders. The President stresses that the meeting is an attempt to come to terms with history. It is going to be a tiring, emotional marathon session. By constantly probing each individual, he unravels the stories of how they had come to support the Portuguese against Frelimo and what their personal role had been. For 5 centuries, Mozambique has been under the yoke of Portuguese power. In the 50s, factions arise wanting to bring about political and social reforms. But the secret police, PIDA, know how to prevent this. In 1960, more than 600 Mozambicans are killed during a peaceful protest demonstration. As a consequence, the different resistance movements close ranks to form one liberation movement, Frelimo. Some years later, the freedom fighters march from the neighbouring country of Tanzania into the north of Mozambique and begin an armed struggle. At the same time, they try to mobilise the population to support them. With brute force, the Portuguese rulers try to stop the Liberation Front. But the Frelimo soldiers conquer the northern provinces and turn them into a liberated area. The Portuguese retaliate with horrifying massacres. By doing so, they lose face all over the world. Meanwhile, Frelimo scores military successes and advances more and more into the south. In the end, the young officers in Portugal, who are sick of the senseless wars in faraway Africa, organize a coup d'etat and force their leaders to open negotiations with the liberation movements of Mozambique, Angola and Guinea-Bissau. Frelimo proves to have enough popular support, and after a period of transition, they come into power. In 1975, Mozambique becomes independent. The Portuguese pull out en masse.
Esta vitória foi conquistada à custa de incalculáveis sacrifícios do povo moçambicano.
What remains is the problem of those Mozambicans who were in league with the Portuguese. Frelimo believes that everyone has the possibility to change, and was therefore willing to forgive those who had betrayed the country. But first, they had to denounce themselves, so that the people would know who they were, face up to the past, suffer the shame. This rehabilitation meeting does away with the old contradiction between collaboration and resistance.
Senhores, compatriotas e comprometidos. Qual é o melhor termo? Hã? Compatriotas. Ok, obrigado. Obrigado. Compatriotas. Senhores, membros do partido, membros do governo da República Popular de Moçambique, camaradas militantes, compatriotas moçambicanos. A pergunta será: tanta concentração de estruturas, para quê? Estas estruturas são o resultado da vitória do povo moçambicano sobre o colonialismo. É o produto da vitória. É a razão da nossa luta. E vocês também são. Trata-se daqueles moçambicanos cujas fotografias mandamos a fixar quando, em 11 de novembro de 1988, procedemos ao encerramento da campanha nacional de estruturação do partido. Muitos se perguntaram a razão desta medida. Uns não compreenderam o seu objetivo. Outros diziam que o passado era passado, não havia necessidade de o relembrar. É verdade. Só revendo o passado conheceremos o presente. Só conhecendo o presente faremos a perspectiva do futuro.
This is Jaime Mate, son of a clergyman, 44 years old. As a student without means, he fell into the hands of the PIDE, the Portuguese secret police, who were prepared to pay his studies in exchange for information about the African student movement.
Esta coisa de falar não é bom, não é? Situar as coisas no tempo e no espaço. Pronto, queremos. Agora há um movimento grande dos estudantes africanos. Este movimento é de ingresso no ensino secundário. E como controlar estes africanos? Como obtermos informações sobre eles? O que é que eles pensam? O que é que cada um deles quer ser? Então encontra um terreno fértil em ti para ser infiltrado no seio dos estudantes africanos. Continua, é assim que
eu continuo os meus estudos, mas nesta altura a missão suíça, portanto, que me tinha custeado os estudos até a altura, que me tinha custeado os estudos até a conclusão, portanto, do segundo ano do ciclo preparatório, não é? Convoca-me para eu deixar de estudar e continuar, portanto, ir ser afetado numa missão para dar aulas ou a tarefa que a igreja me iria confiar.
é a igreja, já.
É a igreja, portanto, que tinha-me pago os estudos. Tinha investido, portanto, queria obter o produto, queria colher o produto do trabalho, portanto, do seu investimento. Então, eu, nessa altura, não é? Então, recuso. Digo que não, porque já queria estudar, quer dizer, tinha sentido, portanto, e tinha sentido que tinha possibilidade de estudar, uma vez que já tinha sido, portanto, ganho por o Sr. Barreiros Gomes, e então vejo aqui a possibilidade de, se efetivamente eu conseguir dar as informações que ele pretende, eu vou lhe pôr em contrapartida, e é exatamente que não irá dizer que não.
Primeiro passo da traição. Marca. Primeiro passo da traição. E o resto vem. Sentiram que tu já traíste. Portanto, queriam te salvar. E tu recusaste. Recusaste porque já recebeste a missão da PIDE de espiar os teus irmãos, os teus colegas. Qual era? quais eram as informações que a PIDE necessitava. O que é que queria conhecer dos estudantes e que tu deste. Faz favor. Mas o passo da traição já está dado. Para o resto da tua vida. Ah, está dado ali. Está dado o passo decisivo da traição. O resto são consequências. Faz favor. Consolide meu passo. Quero ver o passo. A ser consolidado.
Portanto,
informações. O que é que a PIDE cria dos estudantes? E que tu te prontificaste por dar.
Sempre que ouvir alguém que fale de movimentos africanos, sobre alguém que fale a dizer que os portugueses estão a tratar mal os africanos, então faça para aqui uma informação. Nós vamos garantir, vamos pagar os estudos, vamos arranjar por forma a que não pagues as propinas na escola, ou, quando necessário, se algum livro for necessário, nós poderemos tratar que, através da mocidade portuguesa, você possa receber os livros e cadernos e papel que necessitar.
Então, tinham as datas das vossas reuniões?
Tinham, inclusivamente, informações de como é que decorriam as reuniões. Tinham, sim, Sr. Presidente. Então, com base nestas informações, com que traía, portanto, os interesses do povo, eu fui avançando, fui continuando os estudos até 62.
Como é que coordenava as informações?
Como coordenava as informações? Eu
analisava-as através de quem?
Através do mesmo elemento, porque Barreiros Gomes. Eu trabalhava, portanto, ficávamos lá todo dia. Porque
continuam a pertencer ao núcleo.
Continua a pertencer ao núcleo, continuo a estudar à noite.
E a PIDE a pagar?
A PIDE a custear as despesas, portanto, dos estudos, portanto, através de isenção de propinas, e a mocidade portuguesa levantava cadernos ou material que fosse necessário. Então,
tens uma história longa, o mate.
Sr. Presidente, a história da traição leva muito tempo, Sr. Presidente.
Sabe que alguns têm ódio contra ti, não é?
Sei, sim, Sr. Presidente.
Sabe?
Sei, sim, Sr. Presidente.
Se o Guebuza estivesse aqui, não sei o que seria. Sabe, não sabe?
Não só, Sr. Presidente. Alguns responsáveis, nem posso olhar para eles duas vezes. Não posso olhar.
Eles estão a mexer-se. Eu fui lá olhar para eles. Estão assim. Por causa das atas das reuniões. Mas tu, venha. Mariana, venha. São teus colegas. Reuniões, as atas todas, quando tu dizes, não só as atas, como a agenda e como se discutia, se a discussão era quente, quem são os grandes oradores, defensor do nacionalismo. Estão aqui, teus colegas.
Peço que me perdoe.
Obrigado. Voltaremos para aí. Amigos. Até logo.
I'm back. We're coming back. We're coming back on camera, okay? Even though y'all were hating on craisins, y'all were hating on Raisinets. Okay, I still want to see everybody's amazing faces, even though y'all are kind of like in my book now. So come back on camera, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. So Chief Felix, like, what did you think about the first part? Yeah, of the documentary.
Yeah, right back. So this first part of the documentary, I think it really lays out like what this trial is like going to do and try to do. And I think it also really lays out our principle of unity number 3, which is like all of our problems stem from colonialism and neo-colonialism, because we see immediately at the trial, like why were you trying to like tell secrets on like the other student groups? It's like, oh, if I did this, I could get my school paid for or other things. And like we see that, you know, happening every day. The colony will dangle you things that you think are so nice and helpful and cute and adorable. And they'll really just come back to bite you in the end. And it's also just the colony working within you, because in the end, you are like really hurting people in your nation, but also yourself, because you're denying that opportunity to really be connected to other people who are like going through similar struggles as you. Because at the end of the day, all of those sellouts were left there because white people don't want us when when stuff really happens. So it's really just a really nice example of why be a sellout when you can just unite with your nation and the colonized masses of the world. But what were you thinking when you were watching this first part, Chief Sunite? What was going through your mind?
Yes, I'm gonna give my summation and then yeah, we're just gonna get ready for an open discussion. That's what this is. So I thought about this. It was very like in the beginning, like it was kind of said the voiceover, like this is a moment that is very historic for the Mozambique people, for you know, their self-determination, because it like brings it begins the way to move forward, right? Like dealing with all of these people of the past, and all these people that you know, did like heinous crimes, like they again like got their own people, you know, killed. They even killed their own people and tortured their own people. And so yeah, this is like that moment of where yeah, we're seeing like what is the future going to look like for the Mozambique people. And you know, the sellout the beginning about school and all this hoopla hoopla. It was very like, you sold out for a degree, like a piece of paper. Like, come on. It's like uh, like he didn't realize that like he was the person like one of the cells like viciously attacking the self-determination of the Mozambique people so that they can actually like like anti-colonialization, like actually have, you know, make sure that everybody's like well taken care of, right? And he was one of the people that ruined that. He just allowed it to happen. So what we're gonna do is yeah, everybody's gonna put an X in the chat. And when you're gonna give like 2 minutes, so when you hear the ding, ding, awesome. That means your time is up, and I'm gonna move it to the next person. So yeah, I want to see some X's in the chat so I can call on people. Any X's? Anyone? Yes. Chiefs.
No one wants to talk to you, Sunite, because everybody hates raising. No, I'm just kidding. No, I thought this was really, really interesting. And like Chief Felix was laying out, it lays out that neocolonialism, not only colonialism, but our sellouts within our nations are the issues that face the colonized. But I think it's so interesting that, you know, colonizers require neocolonial sellouts. They can't do their rape, loot, pillage, steal, murder, genocide without turning people from within our nations against us, right? Like we see that in the petty boo sellout class of our own nations. Like the big one in my nation is like Park Yeon-mi. She makes these videos about DPRK where she literally lies. Like it's been proven that she lies, and then the CIA pays her a bunch of money and she gets really awful surgery to look like a white person. But like it speaks to the fact that even like, how do I word this? It speaks to the fact that the power is still with us. Like so much so that it requires them to go into our nations and create sellouts to divide us amongst ourselves so that we don't rise up as a united colonized mass and, you know, take them down and build our own world, which is obviously what we're doing here in Black Hammer. So even in its like awful, perverted, effed upness, it still demonstrates that the power is within the colonized masses. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to turn us against each other and use like select ones of us who are willing to sell out as pawns against their own people. So that was interesting. I think it's really super interesting that they did this at all. You know, I know some revolutionary movements went a different way. They just sort of, and, you know, moved on. And I think that, you know, I'm still thinking about what I think about that, because I think it does show an endless faith in the colonized masses and an understanding that colonialism was the root of it. It's interesting drawing parallels between how the U.S. Military recruits, right? Because one of the sellouts was saying, they said they would, you know, pay for my education. Well, that's what the U.S. like military does. That's how they get people, right? To act as neo-colonial sellouts. But I think too, it lays out how stupid it is to sell out, right? Like you look dumb AF right now. Like you sold out your entire people and then they won and now you're here and there's like pictures of you everywhere and you're just like, and that never would happen if you had endless faith in the colonized masses to, you know, win their own liberation. Bam back.
Amazing, amazing summation, Chief. Like, yeah, he looked like, as he was speaking the words, like he knew he looked really, really stupid. Because he's like, I did this and I did that and I did that. Like, it was dumb. But yeah, any more X's in the chat? You want to call on someone, Chief Felix?
Yes, I do. It's looking like Chief Yabe is up next.
Land bank. Yeah, I really love this. This clip is really interesting. Like, yeah, it really made me think about the public self-criticisms that we do with the rally and like, you know, just how important it is to not just, you know, expose it. Yeah, like, you know, it's just like as a leadership thing, but also, yeah, like to the masses and like how, you know, Samora Machel is like, yeah, it's a long story, but treachery is a long story, like being a traitor. And it is true. It's like you have to go through these mental gymnastics of like the colonizer puts there. It's just like, ooh, you know, oh, it's school, it's the books, you know, and it's like, no, I mean, yeah, it can be any of one of those things, but at the end of the day, it's like, no matter how small, it's like, you know, giving away minutes, giving away that heated struggle. It also made me realize just how important that, you know, the struggle, those heated struggles, those heated, contradictions that, you know, colonized leadership goes through to make things better for the people is so important. And, you know, how even those minutes were something like, you know, really important for these colonizers to get. Just how important it is that we, you know, keep our organization safe and, yeah, just like that privacy, you know, but as, you know, at the same time, that transparency as well. Yeah, really, really amazing. And back.
Land back. I fully remember that, Chief Yabe. And yeah, what you were saying just about those few minutes, because those few little minutes that student was probably talking to those other students, they probably weren't even saying too much. It's like, I don't know how much money it was to pay for school, but it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm sure, like for however many neocolonial sellouts they decided to have, just to get that little bit of information, which I think is really interesting and shows, like Chief Sub was saying, really just like how powerful we really are and like how desperate the colony is for us, and like has always been, because we see that they will always still rely on us and use us in these neo-colonial ways. All right, so Chief CJ, do you want to call on someone?
Yes. Who is the next one? Yes, Chief Ran.
I am back. Yeah, I really wanted to unite with what the previous like commenters and everyone's been saying. Like, I think kind of going off of what both of them said, like both Sa and Yabe said, like, I think that's what the point of like self-criticisms are, is to expose it not just to yourself or your leadership, but to expose it to everyone that it involves. Like the level of treachery that this person did, like affected like everyone, affected all the masses. So it exposes to everyone like, hey, like don't do this first of all, or else you'll be up there next, and it also says like, this is why like you shouldn't be this way, and like, how can we like overturn this? How could have this gone differently, and that's the really like that's the power of like self-criticism and learning from other self-criticisms. And yeah, I want to unite with what everyone's been saying too, like y'all like I remember at one point when he was like speaking, I was like, I would have. We're not on Facebook, are we? Am I allowed to curse? Is that a thing? Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, basically I was like, damn, if I was up there, I would have been shitting my pants. Like that's like the way that he was talking to him, like I was like, oh my goodness, this sounds like, like the worst, like, yeah, like the awkward silences always get me. So that was the thing that was like constantly like coming up in my head when during the segment. So yeah, Lembeck.
Back, really, really appreciate that. Like, yeah, the silence, like when Samora Machel was like, these are your, like kind of like what did he say? I forget, like his ex compatriots, and he was like, come up here, and like the guy was like, I'm sorry. And there was just silence. And then there's like some strange whistling in the background. But yeah, that was the best. But yeah, Chief Felix, wanna call on somebody next?
Yes, Chief JJ.
I'm back. Eu só queria fazer um comentário bem rápido, especial para as pessoas que falam português, para a gente, como que é interessante a gente analisar isso, ainda mais no contexto do colonialismo português, porque muitas vezes a gente tem uma memória muito curta do que é o colonialismo português e como ele fez, como eles fizeram, como eles conseguiram dominar o nosso povo por tanto tempo. E é muito interessante a gente ver como a gente tem dentro de todos os povos, incluindo dos nossos, traidores que vão sempre servir ao colonialismo, vão sempre estar se vendendo a troco de nada ou quase nada, para ter algum tipo de aceitação, e que muitas vezes ou quase todas as vezes vão ser deixados às margens depois por esses colonos que só queriam usar deles para obter informação dos nossos povos. Então, acho que é importante a gente, ainda mais a gente no Brasil, que tem uma memória muito curta do como o colonialismo age, como esses traidores agem, de que a gente tem que lutar, a gente tem que se defender como povo, a gente tem que se unir como povo e expor as feridas, expor os traidores mesmo, para que a gente consiga identificar e corrigir os problemas, para que, enfim, para que a gente consiga vencer o colonialismo.
Back, Chief JJ. But yeah, back, Chief JJ. Do you mind giving like a summation or like what you had said, so I can comment? Just like a snippet. I just want to make sure I'm commenting. All right, I appreciate you, Chief JJ. And yeah, like again, share. This is gonna go everywhere. Appreciate it. All right, Chief Felix, did you want to? Yeah, that. Chief Felix, did you want to go next? Call somebody next.
Yes. Up next, Chief Frederico.
Lamb back. Yeah, I wanted to fully unite, like, with what this documentary is laying out with what everyone said, because like this is why we have our principle of unity number 3, right? Like, because all of the problems that we do face come from colonialism and these submissive neo-colonialists, these sellouts, right? And we see them every day working in the colony, right, to uphold it. Like Chief Suh said, right, with that person from Korea selling out their own people for a bloody check, to the people that we see like AOC, Cori Bush, like all these people that work in the colonial government that have the blood of their people in their hands, right? Who divert the revolutionary potential
the energy of liberation into buying into this colonial structure, because that's what colonizers need. That's what this colonial government needs, right? Like, it knows like it cannot sustain itself if the will of the colonized masses is not bought into it. So it puts these sellouts into our nations, into our communities, to get us to buy into it, to gaslight us, all to continue killing us, dispossessing us. So that's why when the revolution comes, right, like, they also got to be dealt with, you know, and like, that's what Samora Machel is doing. That's what the revolutionary organization fighting for Mozambique from the Portuguese did, because like, they're as dangerous, if not more than the colonizers, right? Because they sold out their own people to side with the colonizers and kill their own people. So yeah, full unity with this. Land back.
All right, full unity. Thank you so much for that, Chief Frederico. Yeah, and I totally agree that Samora Machel is really dealing with these neo-colonial sellouts in an interesting way, because like Chief was saying in the beginning, we've definitely seen revolutionaries go in different directions. So it's interesting that Samora Machel chose this one to deal with these neo-colonial sellouts that are placed in our nation, just like you said, because of colonialism. Do you want to say anything else before we wrap this up, Chief Sunite, and move on to our second part?
Oh yeah, I believe we have one last comment, and then we're gonna move on to part 2. Or is there any other X's in the chat? Sorry, I'm looking up. Any other last comments? Or all right, well, I am again excited to go into part 2 of this. Amazing discussion, everybody. Really like, you know, kind of as you keep watching, you get more and more points, you know, like from other people and like more and more insight. So I really, really appreciate it. And so since we're going to be viewing part 2, everybody turn their cameras off. Do not be that one person, okay? Turn it off. So it just works smoothly, okay? And then we're going to come back for open discussion again. So land back.
Luta política, luta militar, guerra psicológica. Guerra psicológica. De modo que, quando os meus irmãos aqui pedem, que se venderam a consciência, ficaram sem personalidade. Nós dissemos em 1973, setembro, ai de vocês, moçambicanos, ao serviço do colonialismo, não terão lugar quando chegar à altura. Assim o fizeram os franceses na Indochina. Vocês não terão lugar nos barcos. E é verdade, deixaram-vos ali. Não se lembraram de vocês. Tiraram os PIDs portugueses para serem julgados em Portugal. E vocês foram abandonados aqui. Hã? Estás a ver? O papá foi. Mas por que tu ficaste da PID?
Sr. Presidente, várias razões por que fiquei da PID. Primeiro, ambição pessoal. Segundo, dificuldades materiais que eu sentia, portanto, para concretizar essa minha ambição pessoal. Esta foi uma das segundas razões. Terceira razão, porque embora tivesse habilitações literárias, posso, se me permitir, dizer que nós éramos analfabetos políticos, nunca não sabíamos o que era a independência, não tínhamos nenhum sentido da independência. Segundo, outro ponto, havia alienação. O colonialismo tinha instrumentos que possibilitavam, portanto, a alienação das pessoas. Lembro-me perfeitamente que, por volta de 1960 ou 61, eles tinham um programa que chamavam, que era radiofundido às 12 horas, que diziam, Moscovo não fala a verdade.
A verdade é só uma. O rádio Moscovo não fala a verdade. Se dizia o grilo. Mesquitela também. Presidente da PIDE ali. Mas pode-me dizer quantos, pelo menos, que tu tens consciência de terem sido presos por causa da tua denúncia?
Sr. Presidente, não sei efetivamente quantas pessoas, sei que denunciei muitas pessoas, Sr. Presidente. Não posso dizer que foram quantas pessoas porque não havia, não havia informação de que fulano...
É que tu conhecias. Depois da denúncia, é preso. É claro. É claro. Esse que é o ponto. Tu conheces, denuncias, pois é presa a pessoa, não é verdade? É muito fácil. Só perguntar coisas do seu milagre. Não.
Não são coisas do seu milagre, Sr. Presidente. O problema é este.
Eu quero os nomes. Os nomes eu posso pedir em outro lugar.
Não, Sr. Presidente.
Eu só quero dizer, pelo menos 10. Só isso, só.
Sr. Presidente.
Pelo menos 11. Ao longo destes anos todos, ao serviço da PIB?
Foram muitos, Sr. Presidente.
Foram muitos.
Não é por isso é que tenho dificuldade. Não posso dizer quantos foram, Sr. Presidente. Não posso dizer quantos foram.
Já foram muitos.
Foram, sim, Sr. Presidente, porque se o indivíduo...
E as crianças e a mulher em casa? As crianças e a mulher. O senhor Maté denunciou, foi preso. Está de vanguarda, não é verdade?
É, Sr. Presidente.
Às vezes deportado para a ilha de Ibo. E que hoje só podemos reconhecer as valas comuns através das palmeiras. Cada palmeira que faz isto na ilha de Ibo, os adubos, os fertilizantes, é o corpo de moçambicano, denunciado pelos agentes da PIB e mortos pelos agentes da PIB. Destruição dos lares. Vocês estão a ver o nosso problema, meus amigos. Hã? As mulheres e as crianças cujos pais foram presos, porque o agente da PIDE denunciou. Às vezes não é por razão política. Questões pessoais. As crianças e as mulheres. Na cidade, vive-se de dinheiro na cidade. No campo vai lá, fica mandioca, batata doce, feijão, maçaroca, legumes, vegetais, no campo. E na cidade? E a renda da casa?
This is Inoka Libombo, 76 years old. He was a member of the PIDA and delegate of the fascist party AMP. He became a nationally known figure because of his pro-Portuguese speeches.
Eu fui dirigente do Centro Associativo dos Negros de Moçambique. Fui dos fundadores. A princípio, todos estávamos reunidos nos estatutos, nos livros de matrícula do Grêmio Africano. Mas nós, homens negros, notamos um certo rebaixamento, um certo desprezo, afastamento. Dependia das circunstâncias, dos momentos. Quando tocava alguma música, dirigíamos-nos às damas, a certas damas. A dama há sempre damas. É, Sr. Presidente. Há damas comum, há damas consideradas de classe elevada. E sempre apanhávamos, desculpa a expressão, tampa.
Ah, ok. Continua. Eu, quando fugi, vocês estavam em convulsões no centro. 1963, janeiro. Convulsões grandes no centro do centro. Filipane, Enoque, falecido Livin, Massimiano. E havia uma campanha anti-libombo. Estava, se não estou em erro, Salomão Magaia. Depois, eu estando lá na floresta, soube que o senhor Enoque Libombo era muito protegido pelo colonial fascismo. E construíram residência em Esfamanine. E nessa altura já era protegido porque os pretos consideravam Enoque Libombo traidor. Quantas vezes viajou a Portugal, ó, Libombo? A primeira vez foi em 1954? Ou se foi em 3?
53, Sr. Presidente.
53.
Quando o funcionário
Recordo-me, nessa altura eu fazia 20 anos. Quando funcionário da Câmara.
da Câmara Municipal. Eu fui a Portugal, evidentemente, beneficiando das regalias que o funcionário tem. Muitos não foram, não aproveitaram, não porque desdenhasse o contato com os portugueses, não. Uns podiam ser isso, não há dúvida nenhuma, mas outros, enfim, não tinham interesse. E eu fui. Foi daí que nasceu o grande ódio contra mim, o grande ódio, a não aceitação por parte mesmo dos meus colaboradores no centro, porque viam estas facilidades. Não me quero esquecer, quando foi do dia dos PIDs, nesse dia do julgamento dos PIDs, toda a gente dizia, agora chegou a vez do Libombo. Agora chegou a vez do Libombo. É o povo.
Sabe, Libombo? A Frelimo educou-nos de tal maneira para respeitarmos a vida das pessoas. E respeitar a pessoa humana. Respeitar. Ensinou-nos o valor da generosidade. Isso é um valor revolucionário. Ensinou-nos que só os homens pequenos fazem vinganças. Os homens pequenos fazem vinganças. Parece um dito africano. O elefante não consegue ver a formiga. Não é verdade? Sim. Agora, eu, presidente da República Popular de Moçambique, perseguir um cidadão, o elefante procurar pisar formiga. Estás a ver, Libombo? Sim. Por isso, eu estou satisfeito porque tu tens consciência de que o povo, estes mesmo, disseram, agora chegou a vez do Libombo para ser julgado. Porque fez muitos discursos também, não é? Tempo colonial. Está a ver, Libombo?
Fiz.
desagravos, quando Portugal era condenado pelas Nações Unidas, o colonialismo português, organizavam-se manifestações de desagravos. E o Libovo tomava púlpito, fazia discursos. Sim, senhor, isto é Portugal, é porque isto, porque aquilo, enfim. 20 discursos, chegamos a assumir esse valor, que somos portugueses de facto. Mas nós estamos conscientes que tu não és português. Tu és moçambicano.
Sou moçambicano.
Moçambicano.
Não troco com coisa nenhuma.
Por isso...
Português era porque tinha que ser.
Agora, quando esta manhã procurei por ti, onde tem esta presença de gente.
Obrigado, Sr. Presidente. Obrigado.
Eu procurei, descobri que não tinha sido avisado. Dissemos, parece um lugar melhor, mais indicado, conveniente. É aqui, onde estamos a falar dos problemas nacionais, onde estamos a falar do nosso passado, onde queremos perspectivar, queremos o engajamento de cada moçambicano para com o nosso povo, identificação completa para com o nosso povo. Esse que é o nosso objetivo, identificar-se com a pátria moçambicana. As lutas de libertação têm heróis, têm traidores. Na União Soviética, até 1934, triunfou a Revolução em outubro de 1917. Confrontaram-se com a reação até 1934. Opunham-se às mudanças. Foram derrotados só em 1934. E em 1939 até 1944, de novo, aproveitando-se da Segunda Guerra Mundial. Reacionários nacionais, ligados às forças exteriores. Na China, a guerra durou, é a guerra mais prolongada da nossa época. A guerra durou 22 anos consecutivos, 10 anos de guerra civil, 8 anos contra o Japão, 4 anos contra Chiang Kai-shek. E fugiu, foi ocupar a ilha de Taiwan, conhecida aqui em Moçambique, Ilha Formosa, China nacionalista, de Chiang Kai-shek, traidor. No Vietnã, como sabem, a derrota maior na história. Derrotar uma potência, superpotência, Estados Unidos da América. Puseram no Vietnã 1 milhão de soldados. Transformaram o Vietnã num laboratório de experiência da resistência humana. Aviões B-58, B-52, os Phantom, foram experimentados no Vietnã. A guerra química foi experimentada no Vietnã. Os efeitos até hoje. Mas em abril de 1975, os americanos saíram com as caças nas mãos. Porque há uma coisa que nunca trai na vida. Na história, o povo nunca trai. O povo nunca trai. O povo, os homens, sim. É o povo que nunca morre. O povo não morre. Gerações e gerações. Nós fizemos a guerra de libertação nacional, inspirados pela guerra de resistência contra ocupados para invadir Moçambique. Fomos derrotados nessa altura por causa de traidores nacionais. por isso, nós não estranhamos. É o fenômeno natural. É um fenômeno histórico. Guerra de libertação. Produz heróis, produz traidores.
All right, everybody, start hopping back on camera. I want to see some faces. Hello, hello. Glad to see you all again. All right, keep hopping on. And why people keep hopping on? I know the second part for me, I think is really funny because it really just shows that the colony has like the same old tricks, and it's been using the same old tricks since forever. Finding these neo-colonial sellouts, paying for their school, telling someone to go do these speeches, paying for them to go do these speeches. Like we see it time and again, like every day, nonstop, because like that's all the colony knows how to do. And it really goes back to like our earlier discussion about how like the colony really needs us to keep this thing moving. They have one trick, and that one trick involves us. And once you unite with the people, like Samora Machel was saying at the end, you cannot lose. So fight, join the people, join all the colonized masses, and it'll be impossible for anyone to ever win because the colony is very boring, very bland. But Chief Sunite, what were you thinking was going through your mind when you were watching this part?
Yes, again, amazing, amazing, amazing as always. And thank you for that summation. So I think that something was really interesting was how like Samora Machel like laid it out, right? How he said that these sellouts lose their personalities, they lose like their self-consciousness, they lose like who they actually are. And like you see like just their only personality is to be like a white man's pet, basically. And so they have to like latch on to like things and like figure out like yeah, just like randomly latching on onto things. And this reminds me of like there was with Kamala, like the Breakfast Club interview where what's it called? She was talking about being in college and like smoking weed and then also like listening to Snoop and Tupac and all that kind of stuff. But Snoop and Tupac weren't even out when she was in college, so it doesn't make sense. Again, like this personality latching, like not even making sense. Again, like lack of personality. So yeah, we are going to take comments, drop an X in the chat. You have 2 minutes to speak. So when you hear the time is up and you gotta move on to the next person. So yeah, drop X in the chat. I want to see an X, 2, 3 X. Oh, Chief Oju.
I am back. Yeah, this is an amazing part of this. This like I mean, this is a historical example of just like you said, Chief like and Chief Felix, how this repeats throughout history. This is a great filmed example of this. And what I always thought was funny about sellouts is that they'll speak the language of the colonizer better than the colonizer themselves. I bet that Portuguese sounded better than a bunch of colonizer Portuguese people, right? And then just like how gross selling out is. You heard that that line when he said, I had to in those days. I just had to. Like, you don't be mad at me. I just had to. This is what I had to get. What had to get done. And I'm like, well, most of the masses and Mozambique people knew what had to get done, and that was to get their land back. So you fell in the minority, not the majority, as little as or as much as you might think that, right? And Samora Machel is just so good at exposing that in such an inspirational way. It's just laying out it's just a beautiful read. It's just a good read of some people of these sellouts, and it's really inspiring. It just shows just like the spirit and value of human resistance, like Samora Machel was saying it in Vietnam and all these other places around the world of colonized people. Yeah, very, very inspirational. So I'm glad we're seeing it. Laying back.
Laying back. Yes, thank you for the comment, Chief Oju. The part that guy, like the guy, he was just so like polished, like he was like a politician, like he gave me politician vibes, like the guy that was speaking. So obviously that colony has not left him. It's still there within him very much. And how like he was like doing all this with his speeches. It was a lot. And so do you have any more X's in the chat? Come on, some more X's. Drop an X.
Oh,
all right.
I see one. Comrade Amira.
Unmute. Hi, land back. I just wanted to mention there's a couple things that they talked about of where he mentioned that he said you put they went to jail. Basically, he was pointing out that he put people in jail that had wives and children back home, and then he explained that they were there's people that were buried and fertilized the ground, and then he mentioned the fact that yet you wanted all these things. You said that you didn't have these things, and but there's food home, there's shelter home, but you sold out to pay into this whole scheme. And so that is also another thing that they always use. They always give us the illusion of scarcity in our natural environment, when in fact it's the opposite. There's no scarcity in in nature. That's there's sayings that a bird goes out every day, but they bring back food and sustenance, from what, and yet the colonists, they always want us to think that they have what we need, when in fact it's the opposite. So that was one thing that I was thinking about, that really stood out. And from that scarcity, it's always hard for somebody to, they're convinced of it. And he said, I thought that's what I needed at the time. I thought that's, they were going to be there for me because everybody else was doing it. And that's another thing is like, we play a role in what we're doing. Say we work at a government job, and we think we're doing a good job at what we're doing. And that's why people are like, oh, I know them, they're good people, they wouldn't hurt me, but their job requires that they hurt you, so that's where we have to kind of break down, what are we really doing, what's really going on, and that's all I wanted to point out.
Land back, full unity coming in with that heat. Oof. I'm hot over here. That was incredible. Comrade Amira. Yes, I really want to go back to this idea of scarcity. And like you said, when colonized people have full dictatorship over our land, lives, resources, and labor, we won't have to think about this manufactured scarcity that the colony has given us, because yeah, that's just like I said, like it's manufactured. It's like you said, they make you think that you don't have enough, and then all sorts of things kind of follow from that. Your behavior, that you start thinking individualistically, and the colony just moves through you swiftly from there. So yes, full unity with that. I see another X, Comrade Aurora. Go ahead.
Yeah, I also want to touch on the lie of scarcity that the colony like embeds in us all the time. Like I remember hearing like as a kid in elementary school about like there's not enough food on earth for all the people in the world. Like how do we slow down population? And then like having to do projects on that in elementary school and even in junior high and high school. And like, just the fact that the colony blames that scarcity on the people, and not even just the people, but like poor working class colonized people specifically, like and disabled people all the time. Like we're always under the microscope. Like, why are you using straws? Like, F you, like, why are you pumping 57,000 gallons of carbon monoxide in the air? Like, worry about that. Like, and like all these videos that are resurfacing every year of companies throwing out thousands of food, thousands of like computers, TVs, electronics that haven't even been touched, that we know, colonized babies, children had to work and like be in the trenches trying to get like the materials for those because of the colony going over there and mining it from them. And then we just like, if it's not sold by a certain time, like Amazon just like puts it in the dumpster. Like it makes no sense to me. It just like the whole thing's infuriating to me, and I'm rambling at this point, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Land back.
Land back. No, you're good, Comrade Aurora. Like full unity with what you said, especially with this like the gaslighting that like the colonizers love to do with colonized people. Like blame, colonized people for like, again, like the example that you said, like, plastic water bottles and stuff like that and all of these things. But it's like, but who's mass producing them though? like these big, huge corporations. And then like the scam behind like recycling and all these things. It's crazy. So I really, really appreciate you, Comrade Aurora, and everybody else that shared. This will be the last comment, and we're gonna go into fundraising. Yes. All right. So again, yes, we're building the city, so we need donations to Hammer City. Cash App, Build Hammer City, Venmo, Build Hammer City. And really, think about this documentary. We want to tie this, into, Hammer City again. Like it's building this self-determination, right? It is the point forward, right? Like the point forward, like in this documentary. Well, this was one of the points forward, is the documentary, the trial. Hammer City is again that like point forward to the future. Like that's just what it is. And like I'm excited. Like what do you feel like what did you see in the documentary that really like you could tie it with Hammer City?
Really what I saw in that documentary is that colonized people are brilliant, and we always are, we always will be brilliant. And Hammer City is going to be a place where we can really show colonized people of the world, everyone, remind ourselves that this brilliance has always existed within us. So I'm really excited to have a place to be able to do that, work together with all of y'all, and see what we can really come up with, because there's so much that we can do when we work together. And like I said, really just use that collective brilliance that we have here. So just like Chief Site said, let's get those Cash App donations moving, those Venmo donations moving. I see 15 doubloons, absolutely. We will take your doubloons. We'll take your Raisinets. We'll also take your Cash App and Venmo donations. So anything that you have, we're trying to raise $300 tonight. I'm really excited to see Hammer City continuing to grow with these donations that we're going to get tonight. Chief Site, is there anything in particular you're looking forward to seeing in Hammer City?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things. We're almost at our goal. Again, the goal is $200. We're close. We're close. Okay, maybe like halfway there. We're gonna get there. Okay, keep dropping those donations. And so I guess Hammer City. Again, like really like tying it with the documentaries that like this is just like the one. Like this is just the one, right? There's gonna be like multiple Hammer Cities and all these things, like really connecting us, colonized people worldwide, everywhere. And so like I'm just excited for that. Hammer City, Brazil, Hammer City, Costa Rica, Hammer City, kind of like everywhere really. Colonized people, like determining that they, want Hammer City near them. So yeah, we got $15 from Chief Sunny. Any more donations? Let me see the donations. Oh, $44 from reparations. QAnon. Yeah.
Yes, I'm also seeing another 5 from Admiral Shagun. Thank y'all. I want to see a few more donations coming in. We really appreciate it. Just like Chief Sunite was saying, we can do a lot in Hammer City, and all these donations, like for future comrades in Mozambique, we're seeing that we have the opportunity to sprout up everywhere. We know that this is just going to be the first one project, but we really want to show out big with this first Hammer City. So I'm looking for these donations. Thank you. Another $5 from Chief Abalicha, another 10 from Chief Oju, and also another 10 from Comrade Amira. Really appreciate it, Comrade Amira, and everyone else who is donating. How are you feeling, Chief Sunite? I know Hammer City is really going to bring a lot of opportunities for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm most excited about the food. Like the food, y'all, it's gonna be amazing. Like I'm a tourist, so I'm literally thinking about food like 24/7. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm always thinking about food. So I'm ready for Hammer City meals of all sorts, everything, anything. And like, oh, yes, another tourist. Yeah, we got tourists.
Yes, absolutely. You said you're ready for food. I think I'm ready for like astrological readings and such. You're a Taurus, I'm an Aries, and I just realized that I'm all sorts of Aries. I'm looking to read about the stars, see the northern lights, all sorts of things that have been like ripped from us for so long because like the colony, like everyone's been saying, pollutes so much in this air and everywhere that we can't even see like the brilliance, the beautifulness of Mother Earth, our greatest comrade, of course. So yeah, let's see a few more donations. I don't know if there are any revolutionary Aries in the audience tonight, but shout out to all y'all. I also know it's Cancer season, so shout out to all the Cancers. I know we've got a lot of them here at this organization, and also to you, Chief Sunite, Taurus. I thought I was a Taurus for a long time, and then I reread my chart, and it turns out I'm an Aries. So.
All right, and if y'all are pumped for this next, we gotta donate, okay? If y'all are pumped for this next part, donate right now. Hashtag Build Hammer City, again, the Venmo, Build Hammer City, and Cash App Hammer City. So yes, keep it up, y'all, with the donations. We're trying to hit that goal of 300. Aries Moon, okay. I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little off on like the astronomical things or the charts and all that. So I only know like the mains. Like I'm a Taurus. That's all I know.
A triple Libra. I will say I think I'm a quintuple Aries. I'm like Aries all the way. Yeah, just Chivo, you're scared. I'm an Aries moon, Aries sun, Aries right. It's absolutely ridiculous. My goodness, I got a lot of revolutionary heat to bring to Hammer City. Because I'm just loaded with fire.
Aggressive energy. I love it. I barely know what that means, but again, Aries say like a fire, I guess. But yes, keep donating. I'm almost at the goal. We're about to make it. Got $5, 1 cent, $1, anything counts. We're trying to get free and that liberation, and again, kind of with documentary, place for the future. So place for the future. So keep donating, y'all. Oh, $5 from it's on YouTube. Yes. Thank you. All right.
Yes.
Donating. Yes. Okay, so She Felix, anything else you're excited about in Hammer City? Like, just lay it out. Like anything. Are you excited to like for a boxing ring? Because I know you're like a triple Aries or something.
I am a triple Aries. I'm excited, like I said, to really just get out there and like breathe in that revolutionary air. I do have to relieve some of my energy, so I am looking forward to some of those revolutionary workouts up on that mountaintop. I know my energy needs it. I'm looking forward to building up that strength at a ridiculous altitude. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be feeling really good. So I'm looking forward to all of that, all the things that we're currently doing. Yeah, and living out like my best fire sign life. I'll have plenty of space to run around. and just relax too. And like you said, maybe some boxing classes. I know we have those. I want to see, oh, someone donated $20. Shout out to that 20. Absolutely. That's what I'd like to see. Let's see if we can get a few more of those coming in.
Yes, let's get, we're going to get the goal. We're going to reach it. We just gotta, we're almost there. So yes, keep with the donations on the YouTube, on the Facebook, on everything. And again, oh, no Celots in Hammer City. That is correct. No Celots in Hammer City. This is going to be a place for colonized people. So keep donating. And so now we're going to move into part 3 of the documentary. And so again, everybody turn your cameras off. Turn your cameras off. You want to make sure the live is all good. And yeah, and then we're going to come back for the last discussion, the last portion of it. All right, I'm back.
The President has asked all those who know something about the notorious massacres of colonial times to step forward and speak. 2 ex-commandos were witnesses at the massacre of Wiriamu.
Sobre o massacre do Wiriamu, eu estava presente, Sr. Presidente.
Estava presente.
Foi no dia 18 de dezembro de 1972, quando o nosso comandante, na altura era segundo comandante da companhia, porque o capitão, que era o nosso comandante efetivo, estava de férias, salvo erro. Recebeu instruções da ZOT, Zona Operacional de Tete. Instruções essas que foram dadas pelo coronel, que estava como comandante da ZOT.
Como se chamava?
Desculpe, Sr. Presidente.
É o seu nome. É aquele que tinha sido... Vocês da imprensa quase que não estão confirmados. Nós elaboraremos mais tarde. É aquele que tinha sido governador?
Sr. Presidente, não sei como é que se chamava.
Martins? Venha cá, acompanha. Faz favor, não diz o teu nome também? Como se chamava o coronel na época, em Tete?
O coronel, que era o comandante da ZOT e governador simultaneamente, era o Martins Videira.
Martins Videira?
Exatamente, Sr. Governador. Era Martins Videira, era um coronel paraquedista.
Coronel paraquedista?
Exatamente, Sr.
Obrigado. Pode esperar um pouco aí. Espera aqui, Aurélio. Continua. Descreva-me a operação.
Nesse dia, o nosso comandante de companhia, neste caso era o segundo comandante, António Melo, recebeu instruções para assaltarmos o aldeamento que estava nas imediações, que era um aldeamento suspeito. Participou nessa operação a aviação, os Fiats e os bombardeiros D6.
D6 são os Avard. D6 são os Avard.
Outro nome não sei.
Não. Continua.
Saímos do estacionamento.
Participaram G91, Fiat
e bombardeiros D6. Além dos 2 grupos que tinham sido largados nos dias anteriores, 2 ou 1, nesse dia 18, equiparam 2 grupos, primeiro e segundo grupo. O primeiro grupo, que era o próprio grupo do comandante, e o segundo grupo, que era do outro alferes. Portanto, éramos 50 homens. Cada grupo era composto por 25 elementos. E juntaram-se a nós, salvo erro, acima de 15, não se nos quer contar, acima de 15 elementos da PIDE. Portanto, para reforçar e, ao mesmo tempo, fazer investigações. Porque eles é que tinham instruções do que é que se passava nesse aldeamento. E nós...
Os da PIDE?
Os da PIDE.
Comunicaram ao Exército?
Exatamente, Sr. Presidente.
Eles é que tinham conhecimento do que é que se passava nesse aldeamento. Deram instruções ao comandante de companhia que tudo quanto encontrássemos nesse aldeamento era para deitar abaixo. Vieram 2 helicópteros que nos levaram ao local. Chegados ao local, então, o comandante da companhia mandou espalhar, isto é, montar segurança aos soldados em volta do aldeamento. E os da PIDE começaram então a fazer interrogatórios. Interrogatórios esses, penso eu, baseavam-se em procurar saber quem que é o rego do aldeamento, se a população tinha ligação ou não com a Frelimo. O que se apurou na altura, Sr. Presidente, não sei dizer. Simplesmente começamos a ouvir bombardeamentos de granadas de mão. Isto é, juntavam as populações e atiravam as granadas para o meio delas. Como o comandante da ZOT tinha dado instruções que tudo quanto encontrássemos deitássemos abaixo, ficou com remorsos para responder perante o comandante da ZOT. O capitão ficou com remorsos. Mas mesmo assim, não manifestou. Fechavam as pessoas nas palhotas e atiravam granadas para dentro das palhotas. Finda então a operação, queimaram as palhotas ao mesmo tempo. Finda também a operação, o capitão, nosso capitão, mandou então retirar-nos da zona. E assim regressamos. Senhor Presidente, foi acima de 100 pessoas. Liquidaram, Senhor Presidente.
Viram aqui agora? LPP de Exército. Estão a ver, não estão?
Obrigado, amigo.
Aqui está a realidade agora. Está aqui. Fácil. Estão aqui. Fomos nós que fizemos isto lá.
E minutos depois sobrevoaram a zona 4 caça-bombardeiros de Mirages e largaram bombas. Fiat queria dizer.
G91. Fiat G91.
Largaram bombas e começamos a ouvir tiroteio no meio. O nosso comandante do grupo recusou-se a avançar.
Que categoria tinha?
Era alferes.
Português também?
Não era português, era moçambicano, hebreu.
Está aqui?
Não se encontra em Moçambique.
Fugiu?
Não sei quais as razões que lhe levaram a fugir, mas não se encontra no país. Recusou-se a avançar.
Como se chamava o nome completo deste alferes moçambicano?
Abreu.
Abreu. Uhum.
E permanecemos na zona. Alguns furriês do nosso grupo português, que já não se encontra cá, e contiram alguns dos nossos colegas para avançar, mas encontraram resistência no grupo. Ninguém avançou do nosso grupo. No dia seguinte de manhã, avançamos para encontrar com os outros grupos que tinham avançado, o 6º, 1º e 2º, que tinham sido largados de helicópteros. Eu vi muitos cadáveres, não sei dizer quantos. Então, quando chega um dos grupos, que vinha acompanhado do comandante da PID DGS, o Chico Feio, apareceu uma criança que estava escondido no meio de uma palhota. O Chico Feio mandou correr a criança e disparou contra ela. Isso presenciei eu. Passado sensivelmente 8 a 12 dias, de madrugada, à volta das 5h30, 6 horas, foram selecionados nas barracas alguns elementos que não identificaram, não disseram qual era a missão daqueles elementos escolhidos e avançaram. Só quando regressaram à tarde é que tomamos conhecimento que tinham sido escolhidos para enterrar os cadáveres daquele massacre.
Depois de 12 dias?
Ou mais, Sr. Presidente.
Ou mais?
Sim, senhor. E foi-lhes dito que não deviam revelar nada ao resto dos elementos que não tinham sido indicados para lá participarem. Fizeram esse trabalho cerca de 3 ou 4 dias.
A enterrar.
Saíam de manhã e voltavam à noite. É tudo quanto eu sei
Obrigado.
sobre o massacre do Guarião.
Faça um favor, obrigado. Querem mais visitas? GP. Estas provocações, vejam o que vocês nos fazem lembrar. Estão a ver no chão? Hã? Quantos minutos para limpar a vocês? Digam lá, vocês são militares. Quantos minutos? Um pelotão de 25 homens armados de G3. Quantos minutos? Sim, olhem para trás para ver o número de vocês. Depois de dar-me os minutos. Quantos minutos? Comandos, quantos minutos para estes? Hã? Meio minuto. Com a arma ou com as mãos? Com as mãos. A reunião conduz aqui, cada um olhe para si próprio e assuma na sua integridade o seu passado. O passado, a história, não se negam. Há que olhar de frente para eles, para garantir que o nosso presente e o futuro não sejam triste repetição desse passado. Não se trata nem de esquecer, nem de negar a existência dos vossos crimes. Trata-se sim de, pela coragem em assumir o passado, pelo trabalho honesto na reconstrução nacional, pela dedicação em defender a pátria, ultrapassar o passado, renascer como um homem novo. Esta reunião traz-vos a consciência de que são moçambicanos, têm uma pátria, pertencem a um povo. Compatriotas, nesta reunião só pude participar uma pequena parte dos comprometidos que existem no nosso país. Mas tudo o que estamos a dizer, e em particular as tarefas que vos vamos dar, que já muita grande área já foi definida por vocês, respeitam a todos os moçambicanos no país. Até ao dia 20 de junho, até a semana de celebração da fundação da FRELIM e da Independência Nacional, nos locais onde estão afixadas as vossas fotografias, os órgãos do partido deverão organizar reuniões com todos os trabalhadores e todos os comprometidos desse local de trabalho para se retirarem as fotografias já fixadas e explicar o vosso processo de libertação. Durante 5 dias falamos do passado, mas o nosso objetivo é construir o futuro, é assegurar a felicidade, é assegurar o bem-estar, a paz e a tranquilidade para todo o povo moçambicano. Queremos agora que partam daqui para os vossos lares, para as vossas famílias, para os vossos locais de trabalho, como homens refeitos e confiantes. Queremos que vocês vivam e assumam os valores da nova sociedade. Queremos que vocês enterrem conscientemente o cadáver do passado e se engajem na defesa da independência e da liberdade. Sejamos todos, incorporemos-nos num só homem, num só punho, para a defesa da liberdade, para a defesa da independência, para a defesa da pátria moçambicana, para a formação da nação moçambicana forte e próspera. A luta continua, a revolução vencerá, o socialismo triunfará. Agora, o apelo. Façam cair todos esses para cá. Já não há PID, não há NP, não há GES, não há moçambicano.
All right, everybody, land back. Let's start hopping back on camera again, get into our final discussion. All right, now I'm seeing faces. I was about to yell.
And Aries yelling. Usual.
Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. So now we are at the very end of the documentary. We still have a little bit more to discuss now that we've wrapped it all up. And I want to hear from you, Chief Smite. How are you feeling? What are some things that stuck out to you now that we have finished this documentary?
Yeah, it really well. It was like, like a somber, like realizing moment, like for these two, sorry, froze a little bit. For these two, it was like a like realizing moment for these two ex-pigs. Yeah. And so it was like, as like they were like laid it out, like Samora Machel was like, like lay it out for me. Like what was the plane? What were the weapons? Don't try to slide around it. Like tell us exactly what you did. Tell us how you murdered your own people. Like lay it out for us. And they did. And as they were talking, I mean, it was hard to tell like if they were like felt necessarily bad. Or like it was definitely hard to tell. But definitely everybody in that room saw like who these like sellouts for exactly who they are, chasing whatever bag, chasing whatever coin, doing all the dirty work for the colonizers. And so like this last part really tied it all together for me. And it was, yeah, really amazing. But yeah, Chief Felix, like, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I'm back. So definitely, with what you just said about the end of the documentary, Chief Snite. And I think for me, when I was watching, I feel like it really has just like tied in everything that we've been talking about. As we've seen a couple of people now go through the trial at the end. One thing that I saw throughout all of this, is of course they're all acting individualistically if they had to sell out. But not only that, but in every single circumstance, we can see how their individualism, how them selling out affected so many people. And I mean, multiple times, Machel was like, how many people? It's like, I don't even know how many people it's affected. Because like once it takes root, you don't even know, and it just spreads all over the place. So I think getting to the end of that was like a really, really good example. And I think like at the end, like a very like explicit example, but like one person just like rolling a grenade, like affects so many people. Like one person's like, yeah, fine, I'll do it for some money, but like, gee, like one person presses a button these days, and we can really see how that affects everyone and all people. And we know once you are united with the people, you cannot lose. And these people were not united with the people. So really just shows us our path to victory. Stay united with the people, keep working with the masses, and there's just no way that we can't lose. So with that, I'm gonna go on ahead and open it up for discussion one more time. Let's see some X's dropped in the chat. Again, we're gonna have 2 minutes for discussion, and once you hear this ding, all right, sweet. You'll know that your time is just about up, so be sure to start wrapping up your thoughts. All right, I'm not seeing a whole lot of X. I mean, we got a lot of people in here. Gee, okay, my God. Chief Oju, go on ahead.
Didn't want to drop it again so quick. Land back. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot of mercy. I don't know about y'all, but for me, I'd be like, I don't like you. You still kind of sound. I don't know. I don't like you. Yeah, you still sounding like individual. You sound like you just like pitting yourself. There was a lot. There was some of that testimony up in that trial, that tribunal. And yeah, I mean, we know throughout like anti-colonial movements, they did not treat sellouts the same way in each movement. Sometimes it was immediately like you out, or it was like, we're gonna integrate you back in. But in the end, you have to have an unending faith in the masses. We all can overturn contradictions. That's the main part. That's the main thing to always remember. But sometimes, some things are just, unforgivable. And so that self-criticism better be deep, 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 deep. If you murder your own people, I don't even know what kind of I don't know what that self-criticism looks like. I don't think is there self-criticism for that? I don't know. I don't even know. But the way Samora Machel handled it, at least showed like his faith in his people. He wanted as many of his people to be there to build a new Mozambique. So, salute for his leadership and at least showing the example of holding people accountable. So yeah, land back.
Yeah, land back for unity of what you said, Chief Oju. And yeah, definitely like that's going to be a long ass self-criticism, multiple pages. I mean, yeah, multiple parts, absolutely. But it really does show that Samora Machel has this unending faith in the masses, like you said, that anyone can overturn contradictions, because I mean, this person was incredibly individualistic. That's why it's going to take a very long self-criticism. But at the end of the day, it is the colony working through them, and they can fight through those contradictions if they show that through the criticism. Patience, yeah, absolutely. Chief Snite, you want to call on the next person?
Yeah, definitely. Or just want to say a little bit about that. Yeah, like definitely he was very, very merciful. I would say. Do I agree with the whole method? Probably not. That person was not remorseful at all. And yeah, it was just, yeah, disgusting what that person had done. And if y'all despise colonial sellouts like we do, then join Black Hammer. And we're going to get into another comment. Chief
Land Back. Yeah, really amazing documentary. Like, yeah, I just kept thinking about, like colonial court. Because yeah, it's like so indistinguishable, like this people's court. And like, yeah, like the way that Samora Michelle was running it. You see him having fun, putting on his sunglasses and taking them off and just putting, he's having a fun time, but also just like really getting to the roots of these contradictions. And like at the end, it really made me think about, just like, yeah, it's like how deep these class differences between the courts are. Like, in these court systems in the snakes and in colonized nations that haven't had revolutions, it's like they're just punishing poor people. It's just saying like, putting the poor people on the, on like the, on this like pedestal to punish them so that they can make sure that other, poor and working class colonized people are like submissive and okay, I won't do anything wrong. I won't resist. I won't, lead the people. I'll just do what you say, and and that's literally what creates the economy. Like that big GDP line, that big stock market line. It just comes from that like fear of there isn't a way forward. But then this like revolutionary like people's court, you could really see like, like of course some of those people, yeah, they were more like gonna serve the people, gonna get right down to the, work to yeah, to liberate the people, to safeguard their freedom. And that is like the true test of socialist development. It's the quality of these criticisms. And that
Then back, I appreciate that comment, Chief Yabe. And yes, I like Unite, especially with, how this is like a, a clone or a court system that we've never seen before. People are actually held accountable for, what they've done. And so, yeah, Samara Michelle is really like, I think like using kind of like those, like quote unquote, like kind of um, like relaxing or like laid back tactics in a sense to well intimidate the like the person on trial even more, but then also to like I think ease his own like internal rage, because I couldn't even imagine like seeing these people like in your face and knowing that they killed so many people of your own people. It's like gets the rage going. um so yeah, Chief Felix, you want to call on the next X? Yes, we got a next X.
Yeah, I'm back. And I just want to say to you before we move on, that being able to like be held accountable in this people's court, especially for some of the most heinous crimes, to be able to believe in the masses that they can do this and overturn it using self-criticism. Criticism is a tool and something that we do here at Black Hammer. So if you're interested in that, make sure to join Black Hammer, because we recognize that these tools are super powerful, incredibly powerful. And with these two tools, there's nothing that we can't overturn. So next up is going to be Comrade Aurora.
Okay, first I want to say, why is everybody in this room so shy? It better be some more X's when I'm done. But what I wanted to say was, I don't know what I would do in Samora Michel's position. I definitely salute him for having so much love and so much faith for the masses to be able to hold his people accountable and not immediately go into a rage for what they've done. Because, like, personally, if I were to hold someone accountable, like someone that I loved and cherished and like helped build up and like just wanted the best for, and for them to kill someone that I love, I don't know if I'd have it in me to still hold a place for them. And I know eventually through doing this work, through going through the practice of, and internalizing the practice of criticism and self-criticism, eventually we will all get there. But as of right now, this is like baffling to me. And I don't know. I don't know. That's just wild to me. Land back.
Land back. Thank you for sharing that so much, Comrade Aurora. And I also want to unite. I want to see a few more X's, everybody. I definitely see plenty of people who can drop some X's. But yeah, I mean, definitely other revolutionaries have taken other paths, like we've mentioned before. So it is hard for people to still find that space for these traitors, for these neocolonial sellouts. And we're seeing Samora Machel is taking an incredibly gracious path by allowing them to be held accountable. But it is, like I said, just really believing in the masses that they have, that they really can overturn anything. So I think that's really cool. All right. Next is going to be Chief JJ. I'm back.
I'm back. I just don't want to say that I'm totally united and happy about this documentary. It was amazing to watch this and learn about a little more about the revolution in Mozambique. And I also want to do a call for people who are in Moçambique, Angola, Cabo Verde, Guiné-Bissau, enfim, todas as colônias que foram colônias portuguesas, de se juntar a nós, se juntar a Black Hammer, porque nós somos uma organização que luta por todas as pessoas colonizadas. E que aqui é um espaço em que você vai estar seguro, que você vai ter apoio de seus camaradas, que aqui você vai poder aprender mais sobre seu próprio povo, sobre sua própria história e como se organizar pela liberdade do seu povo. Então, se você está em qualquer lugar do mundo, ou que tenha sido ou seja uma colônia portuguesa, seja muito bem-vindo a Black Hammer. E é isso. Para entrar em contato com a gente, você pode entrar em contato pelas redes sociais ou entrar no nosso site. A gente tem algumas matérias em português também. Vou trabalhar para que a gente tenha mais matérias também sobre essas outras colônias portuguesas, para que enfim, para que a gente possa se unir todos contra o colonialismo e pela liberdade do nosso povo.
Land back. Awesome. Oh, land back to JJ. Unity. And yes, appreciate your comment and all that brilliance that you do bring to the organization. And yes, we're going to move on to the next comment. Let's see. Comrade Amira.
And land back. I think it was beautiful that the way it was executed, because that I think is ultra like non-colonial, because it goes back to traditional values of the community coming together, like how he said there's only a few of them, but it represents the whole, and that is unity in itself. And also as a leader, you don't lead over the people you lead as a responsibility to those people. So he was identifying them as, say, like your naughty child, and a lot of times what happens, and we see it over and over again, is like when we ostracize people or we punishment, they put a defense up. And that's where the trouble lies, because they're no longer open to whatever you have to say. They're closed off to it. If anything, it might incite or, feed those things that are wrong. So, and then where are you then? You have somebody festering, like you're basically still keeping that bad apple within your bucket, whereas a bad apple ruins the bunch, so instead they're trying to say, pointed out and kind of healed the situation and accept them back into their tribe, into their you know, the unity of the whole, where, you know, that takes a lot, especially for a leader, to demonstrate that. And what the most beautiful part about it was that the people then broke out in song, which was then raising the vibration, and which is healing for the whole, because the people have, you know, the ones that are, you know, doing that, you know, have to feel that. Land back.
Land back. Yes, Comrade Amira, I appreciate yeah, the comment and the deepening of that in unity with what you just laid out. Again, that's beautifully said. Yeah, it was beautifully said. And then we have another X, and that is Fred. Just making sure. Yeah, Fred. Did I say that correct?
Land back. Sorry, my voice is a little bit crooked up. I'm actually down in Mozambique, and it's now what, 5:25. All right. Looking back at the speech of President and Comrade Samora Machel and what transpired during that truth and reconciliation situation we had, I will share a little bit of what the history of Mozambique is and what took us to that truth and reconciliation. One of the methodologies that Portugal used during the colonization was to divide the Mozambican people, starting from the fact that in Mozambique we have 33 tribes. So the division process that they used, they first introduced education period, an education process where all Mozambicans were allowed to start till grade 4. And then they had what they called the civilized Mozambican, which those were allowed to start up to grade 7. And a very few chosen ones that will have the old colonial godfathers, those managed to go to university. So first, they implanted the belief that the Black educated are better than the rest of the non-educated, or those that are deprived from education. And this is how we ended up having this traitoring system. And when President Samora Machel came in after our independence, which we actually celebrate 46 years today, he had to make a choice. He had to make a choice in the sense that you had 30% of the Mozambican people that were affiliated to the old colonies. Traited or not traited, those are Mozambicans. Where do you throw them? Do you kill them all? Do you ship them to Portugal? If you're gonna keep them, under what conditions do you keep them? And this had to be made, hence we had the situation that we all witnessed, and people were forgiven. And in the process, some traitors continue with the way of being, and those were dealt with. Some in ways that we all agree, and some in ways that we don't agree. But all of the joint of all those activities bring what Africa is today. Pushing away a little bit now from Mozambique and talking, for instance, about the Francophonics. What is the major problem that we have today in the Francophonic countries? It's traitorism. Every president that leads any Francophonic country today, he is a president because Belgium and France put them in that place. Those that have gone against what Belgium and France want, sorry, time out, I'll try again later.
Land back. Thank you so much for deepening that history of the Mozambique people. And it really just lays out so clearly that this divisionism that we see was never in us from the first place. The colony showed up. They were like, what can we exploit? How can we divide these people? And took full opportunity of that and got to work from there. So thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate it. We have one more comment that we're going to get to, which is Chief Star. Linda?
Land back. I want to really unite and appreciate what the comrade Fred just said, because it's so true. Like, that divisionism is not natural. It's sold by colonialism in order to create a neo-colonial sellout class. Like, all of these, like you said, African prime ministers and presidents who are, they're of the people, but they sell out their people's blood for a check because they're subservient to French or Portuguese or what have you, like colonial ruling classes, for their own interests, which if they really saw clearly, they would see that their actual interest is with the masses. And it's interesting when you have such a large percentage of people that were forced to sell out, and like you have to contend with this question, like are we gonna kill, like, I don't remember what you said, 10 or 30% of our own population? Like, is that the right way to deal with that? It's just a question you have to like dialectically, materially really look at. And I think, so often when we study revolution, Samora Machel says it, you see people like Che Guevara and Kim Il-sung said it, like you are creating, Frantz Fanon said it, like so many revolutionaries, you're creating a new man, birthing a new humanity. Like when we are colonized, we don't even know who we are really. And so that endless faith and love of the masses, and like the comrade Fred was saying that this is still your own people. Now, do I believe that there's a point you sell out at which point there is, not really much coming back? Like I personally, yes, do believe that, but you have to be a materialist and realize if it's, that percent of the population, and if the force, the Portuguese forces that was not forcing them, but making it very enticing for them to sell out, once they have been removed, you as a materialist are like, well, this is a different situation than we were in before. So I just think it's a really interesting question, especially for us as Black Hammer, when, we're building up this dual contending power. We see so clearly the American empire and all these white power colonial empires crumbling around us, like crumbling, like their economies never coming back. War with China, good luck with that if you actually want it, because you really don't. Like, they're crumbling. And so we have to think about what it is we are building. So it's important to study stuff like this because, when we seize power and become the state apparatus, we have to think about the world that we're building. And so I think this is, beautiful. And land back.
Land back. Thank you so much for going a little deeper into that even more, Karen Chipsa. Really explains that all of our problems come from neocolonialism and colonialism. We see how the colony has worked to divide us from the very beginning, because they knew that they always were going to need us. And the only way that they could get us to work for them is if they tricked us, if they divided us, they did all this stuff. So that we were more likely to act in this individual way, because we didn't even know who we were until we unite again with the masses, with the people, like what we're doing here at Black Hammer, and what we will be doing in Hammer City. So we have a little more money to raise. We are very close, everyone, to hitting our goal of $300 tonight. I believe we have another $60. So let's raise those final $60, everyone, for Hammer City. Say no to divisionism. Say no more neocolonial sellouts. Let's finally take our land back and start building for the people, for us, and really start, building up this dual contending power that we know we can build. So just one more time, again, it's Build Hammer City on Cash App and also Build Hammer City on Venmo. Let's see what we can do. I'm seeing another $6, $10. Thank you so much. Chief Sunite, how are you feeling about this? Hammer City, wrap it in. You seen it in the documentary at all? How are you feeling?
So, I'm excited, all these donations, and like thinking about like the things again that are going to be built with these donations, like the home dome, which, you really just like appreciate like the architecture of it, like home that is like complying with the land and not like built to obstruct the land, and like also not built in a way that's like not lasting, because a lot of these homes or these like colonial structures are built just not to last at all. Oh yes, we got the final amount. Yes, okay, cool. And yeah, we reached our goal. It's amazing. And then also just the oh, my bad. And then the like the garden structures, underground garden structures and all those kinds of things. Just like amazing, like thinking of all the things that we're going to build. Of course, costs money, unfortunately. But no, we're almost at our goal. We haven't hit our goal. I misspoke. We're almost at our goal. And so yes, again, same thing. We got some stuff. We got $25. Oh, for the confusion. We got $50 reparations on the YouTube. Oh yeah, comment hashtag build Hammer City in the YouTube comments, please. Amazing. $3 more on it. Yeah, no problem.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for donating. It took me a little while. I had to do the math, but I do believe we hit it because we needed another 60, 25 plus the 15 reparations. I think takes us there, plus the additional 3s and 5s coming in. So I appreciate it, everyone. And Hammer City, again, is going to be a place to remind ourselves what it really means to like take our land back, take our humanity back, and remember what it was like to really build for ourselves. So every single cent that you donate to Hammer City is going to allow us to do that, allow you to do that, allow the people to do that, and just continue to build up this necessary dual contending power.
Exactly, Chief Felix. And like, I love how you just like do the math. The math just like came. But no, thank you though. And so thank you all for helping us reach our goal. Of course, we add a little bit more, fundraise a little bit more, add that extra, that extra component of that, home dome, that extra like like packet of seeds. Join today. Black Hero Organization. If you want to again unite with colonized leadership, again, fight for your people, fight for your liberation. This is the place to join. And you'll get our land back and our resources back in blackhammer.org/join. And if you're a colonizer, pay reparations, because you kind of should have already if you haven't. So yes, pay those reparations and get on like the right side of history just for once. And yeah, join Black Hammer today. And
Yes.
any other thing you want to say, Chief Felix?
Yeah, a few more things before we close it out. Just a quick shout out to our culture department for putting this event on, the movie Trap. If you are interested in coming to more of these, we do it every single month. So don't just stop by this one. Keep coming by, keep showing out because they're all as cool as this one. And thank you also everyone for helping us reach our goal. We really appreciate it so much. And with that, unless there's anything else you want to say, Chief Senator, really quick.
Yeah, again, just reading, like, thank everyone for coming and for bringing your virtual snacks. I didn't get any, but whatever, that's fine. Thanks for bringing them anyway. And can I have like a big land back from everyone? I want a big, huge land back. All right. 5.
Land back.
Land back.
Bye.